Hello everyone, welcome to another horror Stravaganza, and I'm going to start out with Killer Instinct on Xbox One. And this girl here, Hisako, is very much like the girl from The Ring in my opinion. Definitely a creepy girl. But we're going to check this amazing game out, made by Rare of course. Oh yeah, is that all you got? We're going to show this computer AI what we're all about here. I'm gonna at least try to get an 18-hit combo here before this fight's over. Beautiful, beautiful game. One of the primary reasons I picked up an Xbox One, along with the Rare Replay Collection, which has 30 awesome games from the archives of Rare, other than like GoldenEye and stuff, which obviously has licensing issues. There we go, 17 hits is better than what I was trying to go for. Finish her! Okay, I got this. And we're going to move on to another game on Xbox One before we move over to the NES, SNES Mini. Let's try another game here. We'll do another one of my favorites. Oh, what else do we have here to try? We have Hydro Thunder Hurricane. Since I've been showcasing the Dreamcast version, I'm going to show the one that was on Xbox 360, but DLC on the Xbox One, of course. And beautiful, beautiful game. If you have any means to play this fantastic game, definitely check it out. One of my favorite racing games of all time, along with Project Gotham on Xbox as well. I'm no fanboy. I'm not a fanboy by any means, but I love games on every system. I mean, the games are where they are at, no matter what system you're playing them on. But this is a really, really cool game, and I'm going to do one more Xbox game after this, and then I'm going to move over to the Mini. And yes, Warner Brothers bought out Midway.
Hydro Thunder! Hurricane! Choose your track!
I guess we'll try out Monster Island.
Choose your boat!
Damn the torpedoes!
Damn the torpedoes!
I'm not too worried about being online right now.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
There are only so many water racing games out there, I mean, obviously, but Hydro Thunder is one of my favorites. Then, of course, Wave Race and Jet Moto. Jet Moto was a great one, too. Look at this awesomeness. Okay, that was a failure.
Nice drafting.
This has a whole myriad of amazing stages, without a doubt.
Time for a go for boost. Right, let's hit that boost.
Since this is a lap race, I'm gonna do another race real quick so you can see another one of the tracks. We'll try Storming Asgard, which has a kind of a cool weather effect going on here. A thunderstorm while you're racing, which is incredibly cool.
3, 2, 1,
That is awesome.
Boost is ready.
They really need to get this game on PlayStation 4. I mean, I really want to have it on both my systems.
Boost is armed and ready.
But yeah, it's a pretty mind-blowing game for what it's worth.
We're a go for boost.
And I have one more beautiful game to showcase you guys and gals.
Boost activated.
And you're going to be very thoroughly surprised when I show you which game it is. Because it's one a lot of you are not even aware of. Airtime! I love games where they have a lot of airtime.
We're almost out of boost.
I can do this.
Nice drafting.
I'm missing every boost right now, so I'm very, very unlikely to get first place. But I'll come back to it, of course.
Boost activated. Boost armed and ready.
I am in first place after all.
Getting low.
Let's finish this off, this race with style, of course.
We got boosted. Let's use it.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to one more awesome Xbox game. We're going to try out one that many of you are not aware of, and this surprised me too. It was definitely one of the very first games I picked up on the system. We're talking about Panzer Dragoon, but it's known as Crimson Dragon now. I mean, if they would have called it Panzer Dragoon, Crimson Dragon, if they would have thrown Panzer Dragon into here somehow, people would have known about it, but I consider this a criminally underrated gem of a game because it really is Panzer Dragoon as we know it in every conceivable form. Plus it has a really nifty level up system. I mean, Panzer Dragoon 1, 2, and Saga are fantastic games, and I also love Panzer Dragoon Orta on Xbox. I have that game still. But this is actually a really cool game, and I believe I got this for $10 US when it came out. But I'll do a level on this game, and then I'm going to move over to the mini. But hopefully you enjoy these 3 awesome games that are only available on Xbox, unfortunately. But they need to get them on the Sony system. I like having cross-platform for mini games, if I can. But we're going to check out Panzer Dragoon, aka Crimson Dragon here. And I really, really love the soundtrack to this. Something you'd almost see in the show Game of Thrones. And yes, the next season is going to be amazing. And even though I've done some shark games recently, I'm going to be doing more games with dragons because there are quite a few great video games with dragons. And it looks like I have to wait through a little load screen here. As you can see in the top right, I mean, as far as we've come with systems, load times still exist. It's still a prevalent issue with any system you play. I think the only system that doesn't have load times would be the cartridge-based systems. Once we got to CD-based and on, load times galore. And it seems the reason I can't play is because I'm not online. There we go. Failure of the day, not being online right away. Okay, let's get the show on the road. And watch how beautiful this game is and how amazing the music is. I mean, it really is a great, great follow-up to the original Panzer Dragoon series. There's also a Panzer Dragoon game on the Game Gear released in Japan called Panzer Dragoon Mini. But yes, beautiful game and feel right at home in the Panzer Dragoon legacy of things here. Look at this awesomeness. And they've had some improvements to the original Panzer Dragoon. You can level up, you can have wingmen, you can switch your weapons and such. It's really cool, and you can even buy other dragons. Not irritating like your typical microtransactions would be. I mean, you can just play this game normally and unlock everything without going overboard like the Star Wars Battlefront 2 game. This has many, many cool stages in it, of course. And I'll go to the first stage right now, actually. Which is an underground cavern, which reminds me quite a bit of the earlier Panzer Dragoon Orta stages. But yes, awesome, awesome game. I'm loving all three of these games. That they're worth coming back to. And for the record, you can also get Killer Instinct 1 and 2 arcade versions on here, which unfortunately do not play well on the Mini whatsoever. I'm going to go to the very, very first mission in this game, which is actually a training mission. But it is a really, really cool environment and some awesome, awesome enemies. And speaking of great music, wait till you see the game I show you on the Mini, which has incredible music just like this game.
Copy. Do you copy? Damn it, rookie, wake up! Each dragon has its own personality. Yours is considered an especially gentle breed. You having any trouble handling it? Don't let your guard down. Our sensors are picking up a strange anomaly in the area. Keep a close eye on your...
I'm going to get to the first mini boss in the stage just so you can see what this game is all about.
Watch out. Looks like we're surrounded.
And I've always loved every game that has a targeting system such as Ray Crisis, Ray Force, and such. Cool title games, but of course Elemental Gearboat on PlayStation 1's another game like this. And of course the reboot of Afterburner as well, which I'll have to show you in another video. Okay, watch this stuff right here. It starts to get more epic.
What the hell is that? I've never seen anything like that white dragon before. Command's gonna want samples. Follow it.
This is beautiful. Pretty good for a basic training stage, I would say. How many training stages start out with this epic proportion like this? And look at this awesome stuff. I'm using the other weapon to finish the boss off. Okay, now we're gonna move over to the mini. I'm actually going to pause the video so I can move it to the mini. Okay, we're on the mini now, and hello Dank Games. Since you were playing Viewpoint, I'm going to show you a game very similar, isometric-wise, on the mini, which is a great horror-themed game as well, with a whole myriad of monsters and such, called Isolated Warrior. Definitely a great shmup/horror game. It's very, very much like the game Viewpoint, and there are a few other games that follow this isometric perspective, such as, should I say, Zaxxon and such, but they're very, very few and far between. But when you do run into them, they're usually incredibly cool games. And there are only a few like this on the original Nintendo system, of course. I'll show one in this video, and I'll show another one in the next video, but I'm going to do a few arcade games after this, which are also great horror-themed games. But if you want a horror shmup, here you go. Isolated Warrior. And unlike some games where you actually switch your power-ups, this you can actually level up all your various power-ups and switch between them with the select button. You'll see what I do when I push the select button. So even though I'm picking up W, N, and L, I'm actually leveling them both up. And I even have a jump button as well. If you look in the middle there where it says level 1, I can actually switch between weapons right now by pushing the select button. See, I have the weapon that shoots front and back. And then I can do it where it's just a front weapon. Okay, we're gonna move on to another game because we got a few arcade games to show before the end of this video. Some fantastic games. If you're a Gauntlet fan, you're gonna be right at home with these games. So we're gonna go to arcade. And speaking of that great music in Crimson Dragon, there's some really fantastic music in this game called Dark Seal. I mean, it was a great gauntlet-style game. And I love these dungeon crawler games, such as Diablo, Gauntlet, Dark Seal, Dungeon Magic. I mean, they're all fantastic games. Starts out like your normal hack and slash gauntlet-style game, but the music really picks up once you're into it. Just watch. Again, this is called Dark Seal, aka Gate of Doom. I gotta pick my ninja, of course. It starts out innocent enough, but wait till you hear this awesome music just coming out of nowhere. Right now. For those of you who grew up in the 1980s and watched all those shows such as Monsters, Tales from the Dark Side, this music is very much going to remind you of shows like that. Definitely one of my favorite music samplings on arcade games, period. And they made an equally awesome, if not better, sequel to this game. But yes, this is Dark Seal, aka Gate of Doom. And they made a Dark Seal 2, aka Wizard Fire. And then there's this other great game called Dungeon Magic, aka Lightbringer. And this is a game that I performance upgraded last year. It runs like crap on all cores except for MAME 2003 Extreme, with the tweaks and such that I added to this performance upgrade wise, but it runs pretty nicely on here for what it's worth. It is a tough game to run. Another great title game. But this was actually one of the very first games that people asked me to look into trying to run better. And it runs a lot better than it initially did. You can actually hear the music and it sounds fine, but it was really stuttery in the first incarnation of running this on the Mini. And I guess since I'm playing this great game, I'm going to have to show another game that is also crazy difficult to run on the Mini, which also runs great on MAME 2003 Extreme. And we're going to move to that right now. I'd have to say there are 3 games that people want to play more than any game on the Mini. We have Night Slashers, we have Ninja Baseball Batman, and we also have Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, which happens to be a System 32 game. And these games all run on MAME 2003 Extreme. Just remember that if you try to run these on the later cores, such as MAME 2010, 2014, they're going to run like garbage. There are a few graphical glitches, but the game runs great here. Winners don't use drugs. Any game that has that is good in my book. And the dwarf is my favorite character in the original Golden Axe game, so I'm going to have to pick the one that has the dwarf. But again, it has graphical glitches, but nothing that too detracts from the great game. And I do this in every game, from Streets of Rage to Golden Axe. I always push the magic button first by accident, of course. Yes, fantastic game, and I remember many years ago this being one of the very first ones that I played on MAME on the PC, on my Windows 98 computer. And we didn't have like a user interface or a GUI as we do now. I had to do it all through a command prompt window. This is kind of funny. I'm riding a creature while a dwarf is riding me. What is this even called? But yes, all these System 32 games are very fun to play. Spider-Man, Jurassic Park, Golden Axe, Alien 3 to Gun. I mean, there's literally close to a dozen of these great ones. Arabian Magic and such too. we got time for a few more games, of course. And speaking of magic, I'm going to show you something very, very magical right after I get past this part. More magic. Yes, fantastic game, well worth a shot. But speaking of something magical right here, I'm gonna actually do something really, really cool right now. I'm gonna go to load core. I'm gonna load the Amiga core. PUAE. Load content. Start directory. I'm doing dummy folder method right now, but this is gonna be in the next update. Normally, for those of you who played Amiga, you'd have to have the UAE configuration files, but watch what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to load this really cool game called Deliverance. No, it's not the Burt Reynolds Deliverance. Normally I would have to load the UAE file, but I'm going to load the hard drive image instead. I'm going to see what happens. What do you know? The game loaded. Yes, guys and gals, you're going to be able to play Amiga games and load them just like ROMs in the next update. I have all the configurations set up and I'm going to release it next update. I'm going to do a secondary video on this little cool magic trick very, very soon. But we're going to check out this other horror-themed game here with tons of blood and violence. Great, great Amiga game. A fellow Amiga fan recommended this game, so of course I had to try it out. And yes, we're going to try to fix PUAE Extreme so we can have that incorporated back into the set. And they have a few games like this on Sega Genesis. But there are so many things wrong with this game. Things that Nintendo would typically make sure to pretty much censor if it was ever on a Nintendo-based system. Blood every time you take an enemy out. But yes, this is called Deliverance. You would never know it's this type of game from the title. But yes, a lot of things that would typically offend somebody, and these would never have been released on a Nintendo system back in the day. And yes, you gotta get keys to go through these doors, of course. You'd find these type of things and open them up and find keys in them. So